What is going on, everyone? My name's Mrboat and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Mrboat. He's playing today in the red color, if it's going to let me click. Playing as Zeus is HellsRavage. So best of 3 for the Champions League. Game number 3, both players taking a hard-fought win in the start of these two games. So we'll see what they can do here. Hells he's an old player and he plays all the gods and he knows all of the mismatches and he loves to counter civ in these tournament games, which is definitely a valid and valuable strategy. However, what it does mean is that his gods, because he's been playing for so long, he doesn't actually focus in on one god. So you can beat the counter gods just by playing an off like a technically a counter god or like a bad god in this matchup, by just playing it really well. And there's nothing to say here that Odin is technically a bad god in this matchup. Watering Hole is probably one of the better maps that you could possibly have here. And speaking of better maps that you could possibly have here, we see a perfect gold mine here for Mrboat. It's in range of the town center, has 2 sentry towers here, and it's at the back of his base. So absolutely beautiful. His second gold mine, though, on the other hand, is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to gold star, but also possible. So if Hells wants to go for an Athena rush, you'll have to somehow cut off this side of the map here by sending a villager in and walling it off. But we'll see what he can do. And we do see the standard 3 villages wood, 2 villages gold. No, not the standard. He's got 3 villages gold. This is a bit of an old build order. So we'll see what happens here. Generally speaking, if you want to, I mean, you could do like an Athena, a 2-town center Athena play here as well, which wouldn't be that bad, especially if your Catascopus moves in and spots this gold mine really defensive. You don't want to go 1 town center Athena here because you're not going to be able to push in. However, given all of the hunt that's here, it's forward hunt. You could treat this hunt as if it's the gold mine to push off Mrboat from as well. So you could get some value. There's Rhinoceros on the other side as well, so it's probably not an option either. So there's the temple going up for HellsRavage. It's a forward temple-ish. And we'll see what he goes for. We can go Hermes here, but you can't really go center. So you can do like a 2-town center Hermes play, saving that ceasefire for the frost that's going to be coming in on you. And you utilize the Jason Odysseus center to push off Hunt early. If you advance at 4:30 here, it's looking like Hells is going for a 4:45 with 1 extra villager. But I believe, from what I've seen from Hells, he loves going Athena in this matchup. We'll see if Mrboat can defend against it. He has put a temple back here. I love that Mrboat's moved forward onto this elephant first, eating the elephants, because, I mean, he does probably the most efficient hunt source, because there's no walking time involved, or next to no walking time. A couple of these villagers have to walk around, as opposed to Gazelle, which you have to kind of manage a little bit. But eating them now means that he can focus 100% on making sure his villagers don't take too much damage. And then once the units come streaming in, it's going to be fine to just retreat away. And there is the Athena for HellsRavage. He's got 4 villagers on gold and 6 villagers on the wood here. Check out his gold situation, only 35 gold, so he's getting hand axe as well. So this does mean that he's not going for a 2nd town center. So this is a 1 town center Athena rush on a watering hole with an incredibly good gold mine for Mrboat. So Mrboat has basically gotten the best possible map spawn that he could want, and Hells is picked possibly the worst strategy you could possibly go for this map spawn. That's probably fair to say. There's probably, of the meta strategies, that is. So we'll see if it works for him. The Jason trying to take down the ox cart here that is getting hand axed. Villagers get pulled off of the elephant to try and prevent this one from going down. There's the Athena. Minotaur going to be moving forward, and a villager gets picked off by the rhino. You hate to see it, but there's something you got to know. When you're killing an animal, the animal will target the low HP villager first if all of the villagers shoot at the same time. That's the priority there. So you got to know that that's happening. So when you shoot it, pull that low HP villager back, make sure it's not being attacked by the rhino, and then you're fine. And then you're fine. And there's the Valkyrie coming out now. That's going to get automatically bolted. It's always a sad state of affairs to be a Valkyrie against Zeus. We do see him coming in onto this ox cart yet again. The villagers getting pulled back. The wooden wall coming up here, and it will get up in time. Mrboat going to be gathering back onto this this elephant here. As the villagers gathering there, will pull back over here. He's going to rebuild his ox cart, and he's totally fine to lose that. That's 100 resources though, so nice pick off for Hells. The wooden walls are already up right now. We see longhouses up as well, making those Herser to deal with the Minotaurs very, very important. And now the army is starting to pump out. We've got that third military building coming down at the 6-minute mark, and he's able to start pushing in. We do see the Minotaur getting pushed back for now. The Catascopus gets sniped here, and the Jason pulling back as well. We'll see what Hells can do here. There's more wooden walls coming up around these towers here. This is exactly what you have to do in this situation. Spamming wooden walls out so that you can't push through these towers is very important. If I'm Hells here and I've seen what's happening here, you just got to cut these units here. Because Mrboat's like so devoted to the defense here, you can fake this and just go, at this point, just go, all right, 3 town center action here, and then go for a boom. But that's not what Hells is doing. He's still pumping out units and seeing what he can do here. The villagers over here on these rhinos. He's got the 2 rhinos, and he's also got these gazelle in his base. So totally fine. The hoplite's going to try and move in here. Nice wall here for Mrboat to prevent Hells to come through. And there is some zebra over here, but they're not getting gathered yet. So I love the preemptive walling here. Lots of Herser are out for Mrboat, which are very smart units to be making against this army here. You can check out the difference in between them and the hoplite. 143 HP, 8.8 damage there versus the 115 HP and 8 damage. They do have a little bit less hack armor, so they are basically equal in HP, but more damage. Maybe equal-ish. Very similar in effective HP here. Do they have more pierce armor? About the same pierce armor, So that's a thing. And Hell's still pumping these units out, and Mrboat's going to know what to do here. He's throwing down his armory. He's playing defensive. He knows he just has to get Discardy here, get the Frost, and try and secure this second gold mine with a hill fort with the Frost. And he's going to be running out of the gold mine here. This seems to be, if you're going to be playing against Mrboat, you've got to take note of this. He seems to be running out of this gold mine earlier than most civilizations. And most civilizations is about the 10-minute mark this gold mine's expiring. With Mrboat, it's closer to the 9-minute mark. So you could structure some timings around a 9-minute attack here. And here's the question, does Mrboat know about his gold mine on the bottom side? He does know about it, and Hells doesn't have any clue. He does know there's a gold mine over here, but not down the bottom. And we do see a dock coming up, so that's going to be a transport ship to come over onto this gold mine, make sure that Mrboat can't secure that one. If we check out the resources here, Mrboat getting close to the next age. And Hells can be attempting to snipe some units here. It's very important to get those snipes on the infantry-based army here of Mrboat. He is throwing up another watchtower at this point. I don't know what this is for. He's throwing up more walls over here, which I like, but this point in this part of the map is not that important. I guess that's just where Hells is attacking. Hells going to try and push through here, see what he can attack. Getting pulled back when he sees the second watchtower. And there's the transport ship for Hells. We'll see if Hells decides to go through that way or not. Gold mine just about to expire. 930. Skadi is on the way though. Is Hells close to the next stage? No, he's 93 population here, still pumping out units. Oh no, he's gone through Apollo. Why Apollo? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, he can put an underworld from this spot over to this spot and cut both gold mines, I guess. But surely you want to get Dionysus for like the Hydra, which is a bit better than the Manticore. But most importantly, the bronze on the timing attack is huge. But okay, we'll see what Hells is going to do. See a watchtower coming up now for Mrboat preemptively, as he's just playing very defensively. The Pegasus flapping in, and we'll get picked off very fast. We'll see the Underworld coming in, and we'll see if he can dodge the Frost. Okay, so that makes a little bit of sense, actually. If he puts the Underworld down on this location, jumps in and jumps out as soon as Frost comes down, then that's a wasted Frost. So he can sort of counterplay the Frost. I take it all back. It makes sense. And the gate gets torn down here, and he's going to pick off the watchtower as well, as Mrboat's hill fort is coming up. And this is where the all-in needs to happen here for HellsRavage, but he's losing a lot of these infantry units. He has to just sit back and snipe with the Toxotes. And there's the Underworld there for Hells. It's not in a good position. He's moving very far away from these units here, trying to bait out the Frost, but Mrboat's not having any of it right now. Still pumping out the units. The Manticore coming in. The Underworld is right next to his things here. His military buildings, his military buildings. The Frost Giant does freeze one of these hoplites at this point. Toxotes coming in, bolt onto the Frost Giant here, as Toxotes doing a lot of damage. Huskarl coming out for Mrboat. Still no Frost coming down for Mrboat onto this army. I'm not sure about that just yet. The heavy infantry coming down. Hell's winning this fight nicely. The Pegasus tanking some damage there over the top, which is getting some value out of the Pegasus at the very least. Manticore in the front needs to get into the back. Do not want to get targeted down by that by those Hers, so they get the Manticore to focus down those units there. There's the Restoration coming down. We'll see the Frost. No Frost just yet. Throwing Axeman still attacking this for the time being here, as HellsRavage sitting at 111 population to Mrboat's 79 population, and the army of Mrboat seems to be getting completely shut down right now from HellsRavage's attack here. And there's the Frost hitting a lot of these HellsRavage units. He's at 114 population. If he had put the Underworld Passage in here instead of back here, would have been more risky, but he would have been able to dodge this. But right now, we will be seeing Mrboat getting the option there to recover a little bit here. We'll be seeing a second town center coming up at any point for Hells. I think he's just going to attempt to keep pushing through here. Do we see any? We don't see any upgrades here for Hells. He needs to think about getting like heavy infantry here to deal with the heavy infantry of Mrboat, to deal with those Huskarl would be very important. And he should be switching into Hypaspist here, which he's not doing. He's still making hoplites. Hypaspist just counter everything that Mrboat's doing. Mrboat loves to make infantry, and you want to force him as much as you possibly can to be making out the Jarls and the raiding cavalry if you can. HellsRavage going to be retreating here, thinking that he's done some damage, but in reality, it has not been done. And Mrboat, while probably down on the military killed loss at this point, his economy is kicking HellsRavage's butt right now, just because it is the Norse economy. If we check that out right now, it's probably the case. We check out economy. Oh no, Hells is in front on the economy. Mrboat actually in front on units killed. I have no idea how that's even possible at this point. You see the Huskarl pushing back here, and Hells struggling to make any sort of ground here. No second town center going up just yet. Still pumping out units. Has some units here that are queued up. Maybe we'll see a race through Hera here for Hells. Wouldn't be a bad idea to just go Hephaestus here either. Just to like make sure you can get the get the upgrades nice and fast. Don't even have to go straight for town centers here. Just stay one town center. Maybe spam out some Colossus. Get the Bellerophon to snipe down those Frost Giants. Or Hera's not a bad idea to get the Medusa out to snipe the Frost Giants as well. So that could be a really smart play here from Hells. He is going through Hera indeed. So he sees this. He wants it. He's 7% Hera. Question is, what's Mrboat going to have in response to this? He's got no resources in the bank. The villagers are moving over here onto the Zebra. The transport ship, does he see it? He doesn't quite see it. The transport ship doesn't give enough line of sight. And the Frost Giants pushing Hells back at this point. Does manage to freeze that Manticore here. Forest Fire coming in. And that's going to force these units back into the Underworld Passage. And now the Underworld Passage is going to get picked off very, very fast here. As Hells is just going to go, alright, no worries. Going to retreat back here. Town Center now coming up for HellsRavage. He's just going to be moving in. But Lightning Storm, while it will be good, he needs to kill most of these Frost Giants off first. Otherwise, he might get unlucky with the damage. Excuse me. Whoa. And Hell's moving forward here. The army very out of position here, looking to go onto this town center. Hera is only 75% complete at this point, as Hells is getting caught out by a strong timing from Mrboat to prevent this town center from going up. And Hells does have the option of just getting 4 town centers because he had map control, but it's not going to be enough here. Do see some dwarves heading over to this bottom gold mine at this point. And the town center trying to go up for Mrboat. He's trying to secure the middle of the base. The villagers coming back in to put this one up. Going to throw up some towers here to make sure that Hells can't grab it for himself. But there's the Hera. Can cast that one down. Instantly the army from Mrboat already retreating away. But can they get out of the Lightning Storm range here or not? So much damage coming down. All of those infantry units getting picked off. Well, not all of them at all, but a lot of them getting picked off. The Frost Giants took a little bit of the tanking there. And now Hells in a little bit of a problematic situation here. He doesn't have a response to Ragnarok. He doesn't have Gold Starve. He's got the town center up. He's got no more God powers to use. He's got the Medusa, but he's going to get a Bellerophon out instantly as well. The Huskar coming out, trying to stop this town center again, maybe sniping the Doxotes that are going to attempt to get into this transport ship. A Karkanos coming out for Hells as well. Very funny unit there. Now the raid coming in for Hells onto this gold mine. The villagers just going to jump into that hill fort, into the town center as well. And now both players sitting 2 town centers. Hill fort coming up for Mrboat. Frost Giant chilling here. Where is the Medusa? Send your Medusa for it. That was a big reason for going through Hera here. But it's not working out for him just yet, as he's done a lot of damage to Mrboat, but he hasn't managed to pick him off just yet, as Mrboat sitting at 125 population, getting very close to the Mythic Age here. And if we look at the map, the gold mines are really poor for Hells, and this is going to be a pretty brutally strong a rag push here if Mrboat chooses Ragnarok. More hill forts going up as well surrounding this location. The Medusa coming in. Need to make sure you don't lose it though. He's targeting down the Frost Giant first. Frost Giant's nice micro to run away. Frost Giant coming in will counteract this other Medusa though. You can see how much damage this Medusa takes from the Frost Giants. And it will get picked off there. And that's a big unit to lose. 32 favor for this Medusa is absolute crazy amount of favor. That can't be right. That's crazy. How much does the mummy cost? Isn't the mummy 25 favor? It's the same unit. Imbalances in this game, I tell you what. And now Mrboat completely just shredding through HellsRavage's army here. As we just see a trireme coming out to pick off some villagers here. Where'd that Bellerophon go? There he is. Should come in and help out. The villagers getting pulled back. And we still don't see a Mythic Age for Mrboat. And the Bellerophon will be able to snipe this myth unit here, this Frost Giant. Doing nicely at this point to hold on, but the Mrboat coming out is a really, really strong power spike for Hells if you can get them out. but they're really expensive, and he doesn't have that much food economy here. So only a couple of farms as these, and he's eating crown crane as well. Now the units for Hell's going to be chilling in the town center, sitting at 105 population at this point. And Mrboat, his economy is booming fairly nicely. He's still eating hunt, still has hippopotamus over here he can grab as well. So no problems there. He's not spamming villagers out for some reason though. He will be able to take down this town center of HellsRavage and get it for himself. That's going to put Hell's back down to 1 town center. He's scrambling at this point. He's got seven of those Mrboat in this army to take out these Huskar. They will do very nicely, but the upgrades are very poor. Do you see Bellerophon gets a nice attack there onto the Frost Giant, but see how long it takes to pick off the Therm Frost Giant after the special. It does go down, but it's a slow process here. The army of Hell's trying to retreat back, but Mrboat's got the town center up. And for some reason, he's still going after this fight here as the army is doing so much. The town center focusing down the Bellerophon to slowly but surely pick it off. And HellsRavage does decide to tap out in this moment. GG. Well played by Mrboat with a really nice hold here against the semi-fast mythic of HellsRavage. I feel like the timing just was all off from Hells. It was just a little bit slow. He forced out the frost, and then the lightning storm came in, and he couldn't get anything out of it. He got the town center out of it, and the economy of Hells was hit quite badly. Didn't go over and eat these hippopotamus. Didn't eat the rhinoceros over here either. He's on crown crane here. It's hurting quite a bit. Lost this town center in the end as well. And just wasn't able to put any real pressure onto Mrboat at all this entire game, and the Huskar just coming in key here. I think if Hells had just stopped making hoplite as well and just made Hippaspist, he would have won the fights so very, very strong, and at least forced Mrboat to have to tech switch into cavalry, which was so down in his sort of mythic age as well. So lesson learned there, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever see a Norse player spamming out infantry, try and make counter infantry. Might sound crazy, but it's a good idea. Axeman, Hippaspist, throwing axeman, Carabalster, probably fanatics, Myrmidon. Those are all counter units in some way, shape or form. Anyways, GG, well played for Mrboat to take the series. In relatively sad news, if you are unaware, Hells did decide to drop out of the tournament. Thought I would cast this recorded game for a send-off. I want to say thank you for participating. Obviously, tournament wasn't for him. He did realize he was aware of what the tournament was when I invited him, but I think he just got a little bit too busy with real life and wasn't feeling up to playing these high-level games, which they are high-level, they're very brutal. So for those of you who do want to participate in this tournament, I do hope that, or who are participating, I do hope that you stick with it, even if you're losing, because every time you play in these games, you learn so much, and you're going to get yourself so much better and help the community out as well by getting better, and everyone enjoys the games you're playing, winning or losing. I guarantee it. So thanks to those who are sticking with it, and we appreciate everyone who's in this tournament and helping out and players and the people behind the scenes as well. So thank you all. Anyways, I'll see you in the next game.